Hey guys, my name's Crystal Kenny, and I'm in love with creating. All things artistic and imagination involved. I'm an American girl who chased her creative dreams all the way to Paris, France, making a living using photography. This podcast takes you inside the stories of all the artsy folks I've met along the way and gives you that extra push to discover your creative gifts. The desire to create is deeply inside each and every one of us, and I give you the tools and inspiration to find a new way of living a more creative life. This is La Vie Creative, the podcast. Today on the show, I speak with Frances Vera Blanc. She's had a fascinating career traveling all over America, San Francisco, New York, doing burlesque, writing for shows, and now she lives in Paris and started a new company called the Eat the Cake Studio. It's an immersive experience. You can live like Marie Antoinette for the day, and we talk all about where the idea came from and what it is. So welcome to the show, Frances. I am very happy to have you here because I've been hearing so much about your new show. Paris is a village, people talk, and a lot of my friends are a part of your show, Janine and Jolene. I love them both very much. And now I finally get to hear a little bit more about you. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, for inviting me. I'm super excited to be here. I've been also following you, following your book launch, your Facebook group. So I'm super excited for you and everything you're up to and how you love to spotlight creatives, which just makes my heart sing. And I love that we have so many people in common because A, Paris is a village, but B, that makes the heart fonder. So I'm really grateful to be here. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I love to find out that we're both from the same state too. I know this is random. We're saying never meet anybody from Maryland. You're from Maryland too. Woohoo.
From Maryland. Oh, and I don't know. What about Old Bay and crabs? Are you a crab girl?
Yes. Hello. That's like a Maryland staple. That's like the first thing I do when I go home. My parents have a place right on the water, so I love it. We just catch our own crabs.
Oh, crabs. Oh my God. And then crab cakes and crab nuggets. Oh my gosh.
I'm such
Maryland
a
blue crab.
Yes. I won't eat crab anywhere else in the world. It's just not worth it.
It's just not the same. I agree. It's just not the same. There's nothing like a good crab feast.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. We're going to go back to Maryland feast together one day. I love it. But back to you. I mean, now we know where you're from. You're from Maryland, but tell us more of your story. Like what brought you to France? What's your background? Tell us about you.
Okay. What brought me to France is l'amour. It's kind of how it often happens for many of us. So my parents are from Puerto Rico. They moved to the South. I was born in Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, which is funny because whenever I say that to someone in France, they can't believe it's true. And then they always say, or always follow it with, oh, from Bill Clinton? Yeah. Bill Clinton and I are both from Little Rock, Arkansas. But I was only there till I was 2. Then my family moved to Maryland, which is where I was raised. Then I did my first year of college at NYU. And interestingly enough, did not go into theater there, despite the fact that I had really pretty much done theater my entire life up until then. And my dream was to be a star on Broadway.
Wow.
I couldn't sing very well, but I could dance and act. Then after New York, my first year there, then my family fell into a little financial trouble. And back then, NYU was $26,000. So you can imagine how much it is now.
Yeah.
So then I moved to Puerto Rico, and I was there for 6 years studying. And I was this whole time in kind of a political science world. I wanted to be a diplomat and change the world one country at a time. And then woke up one day and realized, oh, that's a dream. That's a pipe dream. I'm never going to change this country. I'm never going to change any of the countries. I'm going to do it a different way. And ended up saying, how I can do it is through art, through creativity. So let me go back to what I love. And that's when I ended up moving to San Francisco, California, which I love. I was there for 13 years. And I studied at the Academy of Art University. And that's where I majored in motion pictures and television. So I did my studies in directing and screenwriting. And that's really kind of what thrust me into being a full creative professional, was studying there. And then afterwards, I worked in documentary, short films, screenwriting. That's my big passion overall is writing. I love bringing worlds and characters to life. It really is where I thrive. And then I found my way on my 35th birthday, I think it was. I found my way into burlesque.
That's wild.
and realized, I always loved the theater and really thought, like I said, I was going to be a theater star. But then moved away when I studied cinema and was like, I'm gonna. While I'm writing screenplays and working for a while, I was the director of development or content development at a small boutique. Like video production agency studio in San Francisco. So while I was doing that and coming up with really fun, innovative content, I mean, this is before 3G, and I was already trying to come up with like really cool interactive mobile content. I decided, I can like merge the two worlds, and I can do some burlesque and be on the stage while I'm still pursuing, film and television. And then I ended doing burlesque for 10 years. So my
That's
hobby kind of
wild.
became a really big part of my life. And so then, yeah, and so I was doing burlesque. I had started development on a project. One of my favorite projects. Right now it's a teleplay on the life of Marie Laveau in New Orleans.
Mhm.
And so it was doing all these different things, and life was grand. At one point, I started working for my alma mater, the University Academy of Art, and at an event, which was actually the Video Game Developers Conference. Uh, this man walked up to my booth. This tall, handsome Frenchman walked up to my booth, and we met and barely spoke any French, any English. He did, and I spoke no French. And we exchanged business cards. Nothing. It was really just business at that time. And a few days later, after the conference, he found me on LinkedIn and then Facebook. And then the rest is history. We
Yeah, a
met.
little stalker. I like it. Keep
It
after
was a lot
it.
of fun.
The kind you want. Oh my goodness. I love that he barely spoke English, but he was like, this girl, like this woman, I am going to find her. He kept it
I,
professional at the beginning, LinkedIn. I like it.
he did, exactly. It's smooth. I like it because he was like, first, I'm just going to go in there from the business perspective.
Smart.
But then we're moving it to Facebook. And then there was a lot of Skypes back and forth because this was before the Zoom craze, and a lot of backs and forths for a year and a half. And then one day he literally showed up in my apartment at 3 a.m. in California and asked me to marry him.
No.
Yeah.
What?
All my friends had coordinated. I used to bartend, is how I made most of my cash while still working on my creative projects. And
Mhm.
yeah, so one night coming home from work at 3 a.m, I walked into my apartment, and there he was.
That's so wild. So you've been talking for a year when he proposed, or how long?
Yeah, by then, yeah, a year. He had come to California twice, and by then I'd come to Paris once. I think it was once or twice. I can't remember. So we'd done back and forth every few months, and then we talked almost every day.
That's
And
so
then he
sweet. I
he
love that
showed
he
up.
you. And then did you say, of course, yes, here we are. We're in Paris together now.
Yeah, well, at first he asked me, and he said it in French. He's like, "Vous me posez," and I was like, "Can you say it in English to make sure I know what I'm saying yes to?"
Oh, did you start learning French once you guys started talking all the time?
No, I didn't. I actually didn't decide to learn until I moved here. At first, we were thinking he was going to move to California with me, and
Mhm.
then realized, just moving to the States is a little bit more of a challenge in
Mhm.
general.
Yeah,
But it was much easier for me to get my visa and be able to work and move here. And I was ready for a change. I'd been in the
yeah,
Bay Area for 13 years, and I was like, yeah, sure, let's give France a shot. But I knew nothing of the culture or spoke the language or knew no one here except for my husband. So
that's wild. You're in like all my favorite cities, like New York, San Francisco, now you're in Paris. Like those are all like the dream cities to live at some point in your like a young life.
I have been fortunate. I have loved them all.
Yes, and now you're in Paris, you're with this man, and you have started Eat the Cake Studio. So talk a little bit about that. Like, what were you doing before that in Paris? What led you to this? Like, tell us your story on that side.
Sure. Well, my story here, I've been here for 10 years now, actually. As of April 11th, I'd been here 10 years.
Happy.
And we also have 3 kids. So I have a 7-year-old daughter and 2 twin 3-year-old boys.
Wow.
Yes. So you're welcome, La France. I have given you some children, some Franco-American babies. Um, so when I first moved here, as I said, I spoke no French, which, as many of us expats no. If you don't speak the language when you first move here, after the kind of honeymoon period fades, you realize, okay, this can get pretty lonely.
Hmm.
So I should learn this language, or it's going to be really difficult living in this
Yeah.
country. Um, because as many times as you think, oh yeah, the Parisians speak English, yeah, not that many. Or if they do, they don't really want to speak it with you.
No, they don't.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to learn it. So I learned it here, but in the process, it was hard to work in film production because at that point everything was French, and I knew no French.
Hmm.
Um, so my first job in France was actually teaching business English, but with a theatrical spin. So they
Hmm.
really liked that I had theater experience and that I could find different ways to teach English. So I taught at a professional level. And that was great because I was able to meet people from like Hermès or Renault or Banque de France. I remember
Yeah.
actually teaching a class in the siège, like in the heart of Paris, at the headquarters, in the same room at the same table that Napoleon used to work at.
No.
Yeah, and I was like, this is cool. If I had to teach English, this is okay then.
Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then after that, I realized, okay, I'd like to kind of do something else. I'm a huge fan of history. I'm a big history buff. So I ended up being a tour guide for a few years, and a Paris history tour guide. I fell into that kind of randomly, but loved every minute of it. And that made me fall in love greatly with the city even more. It was one of those things where instead of walking by areas and not knowing it, I had a much more intimate and deeper relationship with the city. So that was cool.
Hmm.
And I remember at that point, so many times people would be like, "Ah, oh, wouldn't it be so nice to see what it was like back then, or to feel what it was like back then?" And I remember that always stayed with me. After working as a tour guide, I did end up finally getting a job, even though by this point I could speak and write English, French, excuse me. I did end up getting a job as a writer and narrative designer for a hit
Wow.
video game, for a hit mobile game, and ended up working for a little under 4 years at a video game company. But we all worked in English, so that was
Hmm.
fun.
Hmm.
And so I was writer for a game called Criminal Case, and those were like crime mysteries. You had to solve a new crime or a new murder every week. And so that was a lot of fun. I had an amazing team of writers. It was a lot of work, but it was really great. Um, but then when I got pregnant with the twins, I realized, I'd like to branch out on my own again. And that's when the idea of creating Eat the Cake Studio came up. Prior to this, mind you, I'd been running my burlesque troupe. So for 5 years, I ran a burlesque troupe in Paris with a few other expats. And we would have a monthly burlesque and brunch show in the second arrondissement in Paris. And that was a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people and really enjoyed actually trying to find ways to bring burlesque to new audiences and making
Hmm.
it somewhat interactive in a way that was comfortable and really just fun for people. So that was a lot of fun. So mind you, while being a tour guide and also working at the video game company, I also produced all these burlesque shows. I had also opened for a few years, co-founded a burlesque arts school, like academy, where we taught all the
Oh,
different arts of burlesque and cabaret.
so fun.
It was a lot of fun, and again, met a huge group, a collective of artists and people whom I can now work with on different projects. So, going to Eat the Cake Studio in 2019, I reached out to three other colleagues or friends, all women, and said, "Hey, let's put together something that's within this whole kind of immersive
Hmm.
um, world." So at roughly around then, I started hearing a lot more about this like new industry called immersive or experience design, but experience design not connected with computers. So not like
Hmm.
UX, but the experience of like a person will have when doing something. And
Hmm.
I got together with these three other ladies. So we're four, and we created what is now Eat the Cake Studio, which is an entertainment and experience design company.
It's so crazy. I love this whole idea. Like I was looking at the website to prepare for our interview, and it's just such a great idea. I mean, like you said, it's not just sitting behind a computer, like they're experiencing it in real time with real people. It kind of makes me think, I mean, you're from Maryland, you might remember this of Colonial
Oh
Williamsburg,
my
you
God,
know.
totally. Absolutely. I loved Colonial Williamsburg. And actually, that was one of my big inspirations when thinking about it, thinking, wait a minute, I've actually participated or had done immersive, like created immersive stuff
Yeah.
before, but never called it that. It wasn't the name for it at that time. I actually
Mhm.
2 years ago went back to the States, back to Maryland, and dragged my entire family. I was like, we're going to Colonial Williamsburg, people, because I want to see
Oh,
this.
it's so funny. My mom bought season passes, and I remember it was right next to like Water World or some kind of amusement park. And I was like, why are we going this stupid colonial thing, watching them churn butter? Like I could be riding roller coasters.
Busch Gardens. It's actually close to
Yeah,
Busch
Busch
Gardens,
Gardens.
which I also went to when I dragged everybody to Colonial Williamsburg the first day. The second day, they were treated with Busch Gardens.
Yeah, but what you're doing, I think I would have totally been into that as a kid, even if it was stationed next to Busch Gardens. Because the talk about like what happens, what happens when people sign up for it?
So in 2019, the very first project we were working with, what we created is Let Them Eat Cake, the show. And so right at that point, we decided, okay, we want to put a live production together. So mind you, I come from, as you know, theater, film, writing background. One of my co-founders is theater and film, very much from the performing background. She's also an equestrian.
Hmm.
One of them comes from video games. So she's a massive gamer. She was one of the people who originally created the game I worked on, and she was actually the lead writer at the video game company. And another one comes from the event scene, like Burning Man, large scale, artistic events and business. So we all come from different yet artistic walks of life, which is really cool. And when we
Yeah.
all came together, we were like, all right, well, we want to do something really, really immersive, really colorful, really vibrant that taps into all of our resources and skills. And we were like, all right, we can do one of two things. Let's either do a show based on like Versailles for the Anglophone tourist community, or a Western from the U.S. roots, because three of the four of us co-founders are American, a Western for the French. And then at that point, we realized, well, we know the tourist market actually better in terms of trying to sell something to them. So we're like, all
Yeah.
right, let's go there. And that's how we came up with Let Them Eat Cake, the show. And we figured, one of the most iconic, figures from that history is Marie Antoinette. And whether
Hmm.
you know anything about her, you know the name.
Yeah.
And so we're like, it wouldn't be, it's not going to be a foreign concept to tourists when they come. And it would offer tourists, having been a tour guide, a response to that like question of, wouldn't it be nice to know what it was like back then? And it was like, well,
Yeah.
let's see if we can do that. And so we created Let Them Eat Cake, the show. We've been in production on it for a year. And we were actually set to open last year, the 4th of July.
Oh no.
Yes, which we were like, perfect date. The independence of the US, which was very tied into the independence of, France. We were like, let's launch. I remember on the 11th of March, I literally shook hands with the venue. We had finally closed the deal with the venue. We chose a venue in Paris so that would be easy for people to get to, but a venue that had that Versailles aesthetic. So
Hmm.
we'd finally, said, okay, deal. And then 3 days later, we went into confinement.
Oh,
And then it was
God.
like, well, I guess we're on hold with this. So technically, the show, when we're able to run it, the show consists of the following. We invite they're always very intimate shows. So 24 people per seance, the session.
Hmm.
And we
Hmm.
invite those people to come and become part of Marie Antoinette's court. So the entire experience is you get to relive the last hours of Versailles before the French Revolution and what it would have been like to have it all and then lose it. Um, but to experience that opulence and glamour which people associate, but also have that understanding what it means to have that threatened and lost. And so we invite them to come, and then so we dress them. So we would dress everybody, and they become nobility from head to toe. So they get dressed, they get their makeup, and that's Jolene. They would sit for a royal portrait, which is a photo, which is Rachel Calvo. I don't know if you know Rachel. And then the audience member, the participant, then they enter the show. And then the show is really a party. So you walk into what is a party in a ball, in a beautiful like ballroom space of what is Versailles. And then there's a three-piece band, of which there's a harpsichord, of course.
Wow.
There's a pastry buffet, that's Janine, and those are all of Marie Antoinette's favorite pastries. Champagne, and then the theatrical production that happens around you. And
Wow.
depending on the level of, there's either VIP or general, depending on the level of ticket you've purchased, you are either really, I have that word in French, solicited. You're really implicated into it. Or you can go everywhere just from being dressed up and sitting and just watching to like really being an active participant in helping move along the narrative.
This is so cool. I love this whole idea. It makes me think of those like, dinner and theater shows, except you're
Totally.
actually really in the show.
Yeah, and I love those. And I was that nerdy kid, that I would go to all of those. I dragged my family to all of those. Like I was that kid that was always doing those because I always loved that. And now
Yeah.
I love what I do because I love that as a kid. It's a passion.
Yeah, no, it's so fun. And I think after being locked away and like no human contact for so long and wanting to like realize our dreams and things like that, like this is the perfect experience to combine all those things, like get human contact, travel to a different time, travel to Paris, like it's such a great combination of things. But obviously with the pandemic, it put things a little on hold. So when can people actually sign up for this?
That's a fantastic question. We honestly don't know because since it's very much tourism based, the show
Yeah.
the show will be played in both languages, but the majority of it, the whole cast and crew is bilingual, but
Hmm.
the majority it's really geared towards the tourists because we wanted the tourists to have a deeper relationship with the history of France, a deeper
Hmm.
relationship with their visit, and just something that goes beyond a regular tour. And I love tours, so that's definitely not a negative thing about a regular tour. But to be able to walk into a slice of history,
Hmm.
it's somewhat fictionalized, but we do actually have been working closely with a historical consultant who is the director of research at Versailles. So guiding us along so that we keep the history as intact as possible, but with adding that flair of entertainment and fiction. So
Hmm.
that the person could really have an understanding a little bit deeper and walk away and be like, yeah, that was really cool. Bridge the gap, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So because it's so dependent on tourists, it's really hard to say. We don't think we're going to run it this summer because we know that tourism is going to be at a minimal capacity even when it kicks
Hmm.
up. We're hoping that potentially next summer.
Hmm.
Um, and that we'll know as we get closer to the end of the year and see where everything is with the pandemic. It's a hard one because the show is a pricier production and it's an expensive production to launch. And the tickets will also be at a slightly higher price point because the whole experience is 3.5 hours. That includes costuming and champagne and food. So, the ticketing had to be there too. So we need the optimal circumstances to be in place for it to be a successful launch. So
Yeah.
sooner than later, we hope. But because of that, we did launch um, at the beginning of the pandemic, we realized, all right, we're going to have to pivot or there will be no company.
Yeah.
And, if everybody's online, well, let's take our content to them. And having never really created content for the online world, except for years ago when I tried to do like little mobile things, we said, let's take, we spent a year building this whole cast of characters with Versailles. Let's bring them online. And we've tried a few different things. We've done a bunch of different experiences online. And right now, for anybody who's interested, we launched one of our experiences on Airbnb Online with our fabulous Jolene Emery, who is the show's makeup artist, as well as one of our characters in the show. And she's extremely familiar with makeup from that era. So we
Hmm.
created a beauty and gossip of the 18th century where you get to pass an hour and 15 minutes with the famous Mademoiselle Montensier, who is a real character, and yet so few people know about her. Super fascinating woman from the history of Versailles, where she gives you all the gossip of the court of the time, and then she teaches you the beauty and makeup of the era. So you do a full tutorial, Rococo hair and makeup,
So fun.
um, all all the while being like I said, entertained with her gossiping stories and just her charming wit. And so that one is available right now on Airbnb Online.
Okay.
Or
I
yeah,
love, yeah, Airbnb
yeah,
experiences, online experiences.
yeah,
There's
exactly.
so many things online now, but that's so fun. I've seen her advertising about it, and Jolene, as a friend, I can say she is full of personality
Oh
and
my
so
god, totally.
talented. So I would love to just listen to her for an hour and like do hair and makeup.
Oh, and the makeup tips, it's like, stewed pigeon, horse manure. I
Ah,
mean, it's super fascinating because it's all historically accurate, but it's
yeah,
also really entertaining because she has some really fun gossip stories of, again, things that actually happened that
yeah,
you would never know. like monkey snatching wigs,
No,
you know?
it's so much fun to learn these pieces of history because this is the things they don't teach us in history class.
Exactly.
So smart. Well, I'm super excited for the actual like tour in person startup again. I think like next year it's going to be insane for you guys, and you're pivoting right now. Like we're all pivoting and just
Yeah.
doing marketing right now. And I want to go back to about, you've done so many different creative things. You're obviously constantly in this flow state, ideas coming at you. Like how do you get into your flow states? Do you take walks? Do you like read books? Like how do you find so much inspiration to do all these things?
I love that inspiration kind of just comes from everywhere. For
Mhm.
me, and maybe this is for for a lot of us creatives. We all have a different process, but a lot of it tends to be you hear something, you see something, you smell something, and that conjures the creative mind. Um, Lately, my process has been I take walks in the morning. So I live
Mhm.
just outside of Paris in the Sermont-de-Fossé, and so I'm on the Marne River, and there's the beautiful Le Bord de Marne, which is super beautiful, like the riverbanks. And so I walk for about an hour. I drop off my daughter at school, and I walk for about an hour, and I kind of just let it all out. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's beautiful and it's inspirational and I see things, or I see a swan. Today I saw a beautiful swan just gliding across the water, and I just thought of so many beautiful things. Sometimes it's I have to like let it out. I talk to myself, I talk to the
Mhm.
universe, I talk to my mom who recently passed. I cry, I everything. I laugh.
Yeah.
I might seem
Yeah.
like that crazy chick along the water, but it helps me get in the mood.
Yeah, but emotion is like the core of creativity. Like we have to feel.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We have to feel, and that's why I love experiential also. So we do immersive, but we also do experiential. And experiential is that's the heart of it. It's like how do we create experiences in the person, in the participant, that allows them to feel something, to
Mhm. Mhm.
have some kind of intimate emotional relationship with the content they're witnessing at that moment.
Yeah, I think it's such a great idea. I mean, everybody's talking about right now, like Brene Brown and all those guys are like, play, get back to your kid state. And what better way to do that than to dress up as Marie Antoinette and eat some cake and learn some history? Like it's so
Yeah,
fun.
and help them try to help them escape from the court, like
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun, and that's it. A lot of it is we as we get older we forget to play.
Yeah. You
We
have
don't
to play.
allow ourselves to play. We have to play.
It's so important. It's what everybody's saying, all the life coaches and the books, and like we need experiences like this that as adults we can go out and have some fun and get loose and not just do it with our kids or whatever. Like you can do it with your whole family or yourself if you're traveling solo. Like it's such a great idea. I am just completely on board. I'm going to be telling everyone about you guys. And,
Yay. Thank
and
you,
I want
thank you.
yeah, it's such a great idea. And I know you were talking about your life and like the gaming and writing and burlesque. I mean, you've done so many different things. And I know a lot of creatives struggle with the fact, or even people in general, you don't even have to have an artistic career. It's like, oh, I can't do that because I'm already like a cook. Why do I
Right.
think I can go do burlesque? Like, what do you say to those people? Do you think that we have to choose one thing, or if we do too many things, does it suffer? Like, how do you feel about that?
That's a fantastic question. Wondering, if we do too much, does it suffer? And I think sometimes yes. It'd be the obvious, not the obvious, the um, often it can get muddled. But at the same time, I mean, I'm a firm believer that the richer of the human experience we have, the richer the better we can be of service to others in our careers and what we choose to do, because
Mm-hmm.
we come from a broader point of view. So the
Mm-hmm.
more we experience and the more we learn, and I'm an avid believer in learning, the more we're able to offer our perspective, our understanding, or that information to others. So
Mm-hmm.
truthfully, yeah, sometimes perhaps I've maybe lacked focus because I wanted to do it all. But
Yeah.
then when you can find the way to harness it, that's, I think, the key. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think we should ever limit ourselves and saying, well, I'm already X, so I can't be Y. I think that would be sad because this human experience offers so much
Mm-hmm.
and it's all there. Like we should be able to experience it, but to be able to focus,
Mm-hmm.
harness. For me, a lot of it was, yeah, I had all these hats. And And, sometimes when I only wore one hat, I would always feel limited. I was always
Hmm.
like, oh, I'm a video game writer and this is really cool, but I'm limited. Like I want to create other stuff on the side and I want to, do burlesque and I want to write my TV show and I want to, what was really cool was I was that hyphen person. I was like screenwriter, hyphen, filmmaker, hyphen, producer, hyphen. And, in the US, that's okay. In France, they're like, this is too many hyphens, like choose one. And so it was like, but this is who I am. I think what really helped as for me was when I realized that immersive and or entertainment experience design, excuse me, encompassed all of that.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
was finally a name, and that, I hate to label it, but when there was finally a label, when you said, yeah, when you can say I'm an immersive creator, and with that, I pull from all of these resources that I have. It it helps people understand what you do and where you come from a bit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, that's so true. And then you finally have a name that encompasses everything that you want to do because people are like, "What is
Exactly.
she doing?" I even feel that way myself sometimes. I'm like, I'm a photographer, digital creator, writer, but then sometimes you start to be like, well, I need to pick one thing or people are gonna think I'm nutty. But it's like exactly what you said. It's like, no, you go towards what gives you joy and hopefully
Exactly.
you can make money off of that. Maybe not, but it's still gonna provide joy.
Exactly. At the end all be all, that's what we take with us,
Yeah.
is what brought us joy. How did we live our lives and not how much money did I make or how much, how many likes did I got on a post? Mind you, I get it. It's all part of the human experiences. And of course, for a certain quality of life that we aspire to have, you have to have the money to do it. Um,
Yeah.
but I truly believe in all my years of wisdom at this point is that if you're not doing it with the joy, or if it's not bringing you joy, then it's not worth your time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are many
Yeah.
things that make us money that do bring us joy. It's then find what brings you joy, because if we're asleep throughout the experience of our life, we're missing so much that's possible.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, no, I'm completely on board with you. That's the purpose of this podcast. Go do what you love, people. Quit your day job. Anarchy, And how would you define creativity?
Beautiful question. Um, Creativity, the the inspiration, the inspiration to conjure what's not there,
Mm-hmm.
the inspiration to create from nothing, or to create from something but build it in a different way. The inspiration to, well, the ability to inspire through art and
Mm-hmm.
design,
Mm-hmm.
I think would
I
be
like.
how I would define it.
Yeah, yeah, it can be hard to define creativity, but I like that inspiration. I get invention a lot, innovation,
Yeah.
solutions. We're finding solutions. What would you say to people that don't believe they're creative, that are still struggling to find their gifts? What should they do?
I do believe that everyone has, there's always, it's always in us, but it's a matter of, for me, it's been a matter of sitting still, or,
Hmm.
or, or like on my walks, or during my meditations, sit still and listen to yourself. What resonates when you think about it? Does your heart leap with joy? Does it feel good in the gut? Are you thinking about it too much? Like
Hmm.
really just what makes your heart sing?
I like that. Does it feel good in the gut? Your gut is your emotional center, people. Listen to that
Yes.
gut.
Seriously, it really is. So it's really like what, if you're sitting there and thinking, okay, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to think accounting, and your gut's like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. But then your gut is like happy at painting. Well, then maybe that's what it is, and
Yeah,
find a way
yeah.
that you can do both, both feed yourself while you slowly build that painting career in you.
So, can you tell us a little bit about why creatives are attracted to France, or why you think they are?
Why creators are attracted to France. You can hear me correctly, right? I just want to make sure. Sorry, I realized.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
perfect. Okay, sorry. I'll pause.
No worries.
Why creators are attracted to France? There's such a rich history of art and just history. And France has been depicted, or Paris has been depicted as just one of the epicenters or meccas of art, and there is so much art. So I think people are attracted to all of that history, all of the beauty, all of the richness. There's also such a deep, when art and history go back, it goes back like much further, for instance, like than in the US. I love it in the US. You can be like, this is 200 years old. And, France was like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of that. And again, I really do think a lot of it has been romanticized because as any expat knows, especially, when you've been here long enough, it's a city like any other. At the end of the day, there's a hustle and a bustle. There's ebbs and flows. There's the moments you can't stand it and the moments that are great. Like I remember a couple of years after being here, I was in that hustle every day, métro boulot dodo, as they say in France, and then just like hustling to get to work, back from work. And it just, you kind of Paris loses the romanticism. And then I would give myself the I Love Paris days. And I would go once every couple of weeks and just take a day off. I was, working freelance, so I could. And just go somewhere like the Louvre or the Orsay or Luxembourg Gardens and just reconnect with why I loved the city so much. And it is because that history and that richness is there that you can just tap into the moment you like step out of the hustle and bustle and you're like, oh yeah, there's the Mona Lisa. Okay, then.
Yeah, that's so important because I think we all get really jaded from living here full time. And for me, I don't really enjoy the city until I leave and come back, honestly, because I'll leave and then I'll be like, oh, I miss Paris.
It's exactly it. When you're in it, everyone's like, oh, it's so romantic. You live in Paris. And you're just like, yeah, but it's like a city like any other. When you're in it, you don't really see it for what it is until you leave or you take a moment to step out and look at it again.
Yeah, and we're working so hard to be here. So sometimes it's just like, oh, wait, what do I want even anymore? And
it's a challenge. In the US, we have that expression, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. I'd like to think if you can make it in Paris, you can make it anywhere because it's not necessarily easy.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that it's one of the most challenging cities to immigrate to. And I think that's one of the reasons for me why creatives are attracted because of finding solutions and enjoying challenges. So yeah, Paris is definitely a challenge.
It's a challenge. So like if you succeed, it's like, yay, I did it. Thanks, Paris. There's also the fact, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, there's also the fact that Paris is also known for being so avant-garde when it comes to its artistic endeavors. So fashion is always at the forefront of fashion, design, art. So I think there's also that of being able to come to a place that is at the beginning, at the forefront of what is creating what will be tomorrow's art, tomorrow's trends.
Yeah, I love that photography was invented here. Like, as a photographer, for me, I'm just like, wow, that's cool.
And film and cinema.
Yeah, it's all fascinating. There must be something going on here. There's some kind of energy coming out of the ground, giving us all these ideas.
There's a vortex.
There's a vortex. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. And where can people connect with you online?
People can find me in a myriad of places. So right now, if you go to eatthecakestudio.com, our website will be up and running soon. So do keep your eye out for that. You can find us at letthemeatcaketheshow.com, and that's more information about the show and or our mini experiences, which are short in-person experiences that we're actually going to run this summer with Jolene and a couple of other actresses. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn under Frances Vieras Blanc or Eat the Cake Studio. We're on Facebook, Eat the Cake Studio or Let Them Eat Cake the Show. We're on Instagram as Versailles Imagined. And we're now on TikTok. That's a brand new one. That's for the youngins. Those are for the young kids. We're on TikTok under Eat the Cake Studio as well. So we're kind of everywhere. So you should be able to find us.
I love it. And I'll put all of that in the show notes. And I can't wait to see the show and see what you'll come up with next. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you so much, Crystal. It was a huge pleasure. And again, I love that we're from Maryland. Next time we meet, we have to have some Old Bay, something on some Old Bay. Like I'll just have to make something in France and put some Old Bay on it so we can call it home. But it was a huge pleasure. So thank you so much.
I can't wait for that. Thank you. Thanks so much for tuning in to La Vie Creative. You can find more information on MissParisPhoto.com. And if you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word for all my creative guests. We have the power to help them to keep doing what they love. See you next time.